How to calculate confidence intervals? First of all, we have to identify whether the sample is large or small. We are going to consider a sample to be large if it has 30 or more observations. The first thing we would have to do is calculate the mean of the sample, then the standard deviation, and then the margin of error. The margin of error is the new Excel function that we're going to take a look at. Once we identify the margin of error, we can use it to identify the lower bound confidence interval and the upper bound. The lower bound is made of the mean minus that margin of error, and the upper bound is made up of the mean plus the margin of error. The function that we're going to use is this one, confidence.norm, and it uses the alpha, I'll tell you what that is, the standard deviation that we know, and the sample size. That is why the sample size is very important. What is the alpha? Well, the alpha is also called the significance level and equals 1 minus the confidence level. For example, if we want a 95% confidence level, that means that it would be 1 minus 0.95, which equals 0.05. Let's do an example. Let's assume a magazine asked us to help them estimate the average age of their subscribers so that they can better target potential advertisers. We go out and do a survey and we collect 60 samples, which means it would be a large sample. They're okay with that. They just emphasize that they want to be 95% confident that the range we give them contains the true average age of its full set of subscribers. Let's take a look. So in Excel, we have a sample size of 60. We have a mean of 52. Let's say that we collected the sample and we identified the mean and the standard deviation. In some of your exercises, you'll have to do this calculation. Okay. Remember that this function, the confidence.norm, asks for the alpha. The alpha is 0.05. Why? Because the level of significance is calculated by 1 minus the confidence level. So 1 minus 0.95 equals 0.05. Let me delete this so we can calculate the next portion, the margin of error that uses this formula here, confidence.norm. The description is, returns the confidence interval for a population mean using a normal distribution. It asks for the alpha. You can either input or put a reference cell. 0.05, because they want 95% confidence. They want this, they need the standard deviation of 40, and then the sample size of 60. $10.12. That is the value that we're going to either subtract or add to our mean in order to build the interval. So our lower bound interval would be the mean, in this case 52, minus the margin of error, 41.88, 42 years old, and the upper bound would be the mean, 52, plus the margin of error, 62.12. So this is the information that we give to the magazine. We tell them that they can be 95% confident that the true population mean will fall between 42 years old, and 62. If we had gone just with the average, just with the mean, we would say your average subscriber is 52 years old. But now we can tell them even more. We can say you can be 95% confident that the true population mean would be between 42 and 62. Now, what if 95% confidence is not good? They want 98% confidence. Then we would go back to our confidence level. And because I have it as a formula, I'm just going to put 0.98. If they wanted 98% confidence, notice how the lower and upper bound change. Now the age would be between 39.99, 40 years old, and 64. What if they don't want 98% confidence? 90 would be enough. Let me go back to my formula and input 90. So now the alpha is 0.1. And the interval changes from 43.5, 44 years old, to 60.49, 60 years old. What does it mean? I have input here how the range differs. Let me go back to our original, which was 95% confidence. So this is what they ask. With a 95% confidence, tell me what is the range, what is the interval of the ages? And we said between 42 and 62. That's a range. Remember that we calculate the range with the subtraction of, in this case, 62 minus 42. When the confidence interval is 98, notice how the range gets wider. Why is that? Because they want to be more sure. They don't want to be 95% confident. They want to be 98% confident. So, for example, if instead of 95% confidence, you ask me for 98, I'm going to throw in a wider range just to make sure that it's included, because you want to be 98% confident. When you ask me for 90%, that is, you want to be less sure, less confident. Then notice how the range decreases. Now we say it's going to be between 44 and 60. The range is now 16 years old. Why? Because you don't care to be 95% confident, 98. 90 would do. So when we ask for more confidence, then the interval will get wider. And when we want less confidence, the interval will get narrower.